Good morning, Your Excellency. My name is Atiku. I'm the state correspondent for Radio Nigeria. Your Excellency, Nigeria has attained 62 years of independence. How can you describe the agricultural revolution of President Muhammadu Buhari and that of your administration in the last 7 years? To respond, please.
The Deputy Gwamna of Kebbi State, the Secretary to the State Government, Acting Head of Service, Permanent Secretaries, Advisors, members of the different media outfits and self-independent media operators, security agents, protocol officers. Good morning, everyone, and let me wish all of us a happy Independence Day and use this opportunity on behalf of the people of Kebbi State to congratulate President Muhammadu Buhari on Nigeria at 61 and continue to pray that Nigeria shall remain one united, indivisible country that shall continue to prosper. And secondly, to use the opportunity as well to thank the people of Kebbi State and also congratulate them. And in the last 2 days, we have had a series of incidences, particularly a tragic incident involving bullion vehicles, where regrettably innocent souls, particularly 2 policemen who were on duty, lost their life. In addition, as well as others, my condolence to our security agencies and indeed all those who lost their life. Equally, I know that I've been around the state. I've visited maybe 8 local governments in the last 1 week, and regrettably, our state is hosting a lot of internally displaced persons from neighboring states. Sakaba and Dankowa Sabu are hosting IDPs from Niger State, from Zamfara State. Part of Dankowa Sabu, particularly Danko, Maga, and Garian Hausawa are hosting displaced persons from Zamfara and Sokoto State. Equally, Pakai local government is hosting displaced persons from Sokoto, Zamfara, and villages that are near the borders that out of fear have relocated to Marafa town and Mahuta. Equally, Kokobese is hosting IDPs from Sokoto State. Same thing with Mayama local government. So I must thank the people of Kebbi State, because in all the places I visited, those displaced persons have always felt welcomed and supported by the local populations. It's a thing of pride for us that in Kebbi we are willing to help. We are willing to appreciate that humanity is one, and where there are challenges, we are happy to help, as we have been helping. I commend them all. So I also thank our security agencies for the commendable work they are doing in our state, and I thank the public service for the support they have been giving the government for the embracing some of the reform items and the changes that we have proposed, and they have carried it to effect. Equally, to thank our traditional and religious leaders for the support they have given to government and indeed the population at large. I pray that Kebbi State shall continue to remain a prosperous state. Thank you very much for giving me that opportunity. Now, in answering some of the questions that have been asked, especially maybe where somebody can answer the questions better than I do. I might call on members of the government that are here, if need be, to answer. The ethanol biofuel project, what is its fate in view of NNPC's privatization? The biofuel project that was conceived and for which we entered into a relationship with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is supposed to be a profit-making enterprise. It's not dependent on subsidy. The dream is to produce fuel-grade ethanol from cassava and sugarcane, as is done in numerous countries, particularly because bioethanol is less harmful to the climate and is quite competitive. When we conceived of the project, for example, the crude oil prices were about $40 per barrel, but now they are close to $100 per barrel. So that means any fuel has just increased in profitability. Many countries have legislation in place that you can't even sell carbon-based, fossil-based fuels without adding ethanol. So ethanol is a fuel. It's a fuel of the future. It's a fuel that will continuously increase will continuously increased role in the energy market. So what we are doing is consistent with the privatization because it's profitable. We have been delayed, like many industrial projects, because of the COVID. 2 years of lockdown have affected everyone, because we had hoped to have one of the first plants ready. But we have had, with NNPC, we have chosen a technical partner. We have selected the machineries, and the project is advancing. And I believe whoever succeeds us in government will see wisdom in allowing the project to continue and even supporting it to continue. And I kept saying this: the media and populace should not sit back and be idle and allow political leaders to determine what to continue or what not to continue. When something is desirable, we should put pressure to ensure that it's continued for the relevance. It's a very, very important project. Kebbi State will join the League of States that are producing oil, albeit not immediately crude oil, but oil that will be used, and I think that is a very desirable goal. Do I support self-defense? No, I've never used the word self-defense, but I'm one of those who have always increasingly acknowledged that our security agencies are overstretched. And consistent with what we have seen around the world, there are crimes that are local, that some form of local policing can deal with. Take drug use. I don't think, irrespective of religion or tribe, I think most humanity is unanimous about what to do with drug. Literally it's a no-no. There is no culture or religion that promotes, for example, the use of drugs. So if a local outfit is working effectively to stamp out what is a local problem, then so be it. Or problems that are not important elsewhere. There is some place where kidnapping is not an issue. Today to us, kidnapping is an issue. how do you respond to it? Our vigilante, our volunteers have been doing an amazing job in supporting the security agencies. Do we tell them, do we discourage them, or do we support them within the bounds of what the law provides, or even change the law so that we can support them to police local communities which our overstretched security services cannot be able to provide as and when due. I think last week with the acting head of service, we visited Garin Hausawa, a town called Garin Hausawa, and first the road is a challenge getting there. I even sympathize to date. I appreciate and thank the security agencies who followed me there, because I'm sure I put them through a nightmare, because it was a very demanding trip on all of them security wise. But when we went there, we met gallant members of the vigilante who are providing some comfort to both the displaced persons from different states and providing security in the area. We must appreciate them. We must value what they are doing. So this debate, there is no golden answer, but we need more policing. Some may say let's find more money to employ conventional police. Well, maybe, but some may say let us also promote within reason. And I'm glad President Muhammadu Buhari, in his wisdom, has approved the principle of community policing, recognizing that some challenges are local. When you go to somebody who is not experiencing kidnapping now, and you want him and you to agree on the harshness of sentences, he or she may not feel the same outrage that you are feeling about so this is something that we should all weigh in. But I support whatever will enhance the security of lives and properties by whatever outfit. I didn't realize that I have not been seen with our candidate, Dr. Nasir Umar Idris Kaurangwalu, but I think that must have been first. The Independent National Electoral Commission provided a timetable when campaign activities will start. The Presidential and National Assembly election by law could commence from the 28th of September, which is from 3 days ago. That of gubernatorial and state assembly is going to commence on October 12th, and therefore that is when legally political activities. Yesterday I flew, the protocol officer, the security officer, and I flew from Abuja to Sokoto, and when we are leaving the airport, there were a lot of campaign going on already in Sokoto. I think I even stopped the convoy and I entered one of the pickups because I was embarrassed and I didn't want the story to go out that Gwamna of Kebbi State is already campaigning outside the period provided by the law. Dr. Nasiru Umar Nasiru is a capable, dependable gubernatorial candidate. Is very, very close ally of mine. I have deepest respect for him, and I will campaign vigorously for him. And to the extent that it's said, as much as possible, I don't want us to break the law. So we have not started any political activity. I'm reluctant to go anywhere where there's semblance of campaigning, just so that we will not disregard. Did he not come to the dinner? I think he was abroad. We invited him, but I think he was in Saudi Arabia when that visit by the High Commissioner took place. how can I describe the revolution of President Muhammadu Buhari and our administration? I think it's amazing. It's simply amazing. Why are some countries able to feed themselves and others do not? Why? It's just a basic thing. Why was it that in spite of many years of existence, we are unable to feed ourselves as a country, or even to make agriculture a source of wealth? Why were we not able? Because we pursued largely because wrong policies. Because a common contrast I gave was, and I hate to say this so that it doesn't sound wrongly stated, but in 1981 we had a presidential committee for the importation of rice, which is totally alien or strange, given that President Buhari now set a presidential task force to make Nigeria self-sufficient in rice and wheat. Should we be importing rice? No. Should we be importing wheat? Maybe no, because we are able to produce these things and we are able to use them to provide employment, to provide income to our people. But sometimes they involve all of us as stakeholders agreeing that this is an important. Why are we bringing milk into the country? Biologically, for you to transport milk after milking it from an animal, you dry it, where most of the nutrients are lost. That drying is largely for the purpose of ease of transportation. I'm sure the doctors amongst us will tell you that it's a poor product, and you bring it in the country and you buy you add water and mix it and sell it, whereas you have hundreds of thousands of hard-working Nigerians working around with cattle that you can help and support and organize, and they will provide that more nutritious milk for us, and perchance we will sell into the world. If we don't see this and make the kind of policies, yes, those policies might inconvenience the elite consumer who is used to walking into the departmental store and buying that foreign product. It may temporarily, but after some time, it will catch on. When Kebbi State and Lagos State partnered and did lake rice, it was a success. It was a phenomenal success, and it led to more belief in Nigerian rice. And so the President Buhari's agriculture is simply amazing. When we had the last rice festival in Kebbi, 5 ministers came from Benin Republic. I'm sure some of you that are there might recall. 5 ministers were sent as a delegation. Why did they come? All along, Benin is one of those countries that has been a weak link for us, because that is where foreign rice, substandard one, is largely dumped. But Benin Republic came and said, we appreciated, we saw what President Buhari is doing. We appreciate it. We also want you to join us so that our farmers can also benefit and produce rice. So that's a big statement. Niger Republic equally sent a delegation. Cote d'Ivoire delegation also visited us here. So President Buhari has done an amazing job, and as if as if one anticipates how the world is going to change, one would have imagined the catastrophe that will have happened without that new agricultural revolution, and you had COVID. Because even countries that have money are having difficulty importing, because countries are not producing as much as they were before, and they cannot sell. So I think this is one of those things that President Muhammadu Buhari and his team have done for Nigeria, and may God bless them. And indeed, I'm very proud that Kebbi is part of that success. The Anko Borrowers was launched at Zauro. The pilot Anko Borrowers program, starting with 70,000 people, was started in Kebbi. I'm sure most of us have come across kind reviews or kind remarks about Kebbi and rice. So that even associating us with President Muhammadu Buhari's agricultural policy, acknowledging our resilience and the hard work on our people, and more so industrial outfits that were not there before are now in Kebbi. As you approach Argungu, you see a huge mill, Wakot. They are currently doubling capacity. Here in Kebbi, the pioneer large-scale mill Labana is doubling capacity. In the southern part of the state, a pioneer mill a large-scale miller, Dangote Industries in Saminaka, are also putting away 100,000 rice mill. Equally, you have a lot by indigenous millers, low rice mill in Kamba, a number of others in Argungu, small-scale rice millers. So Kebbi State has done well because the people of Kebbi are hardworking. And that's what we saw, and the government, the state assembly, the government mobilized what we believe are a hard-working populace to key into the agricultural revolution, and it's paying off. Thank you.
I mean, abuwa zan yi tambaya ta da Hausa da labai. Tambayar ita ce kuma ka faɗi cewa ka dan kai ziyara a wasu ƙananan hukumomi inda wani tunani ya faru. Shin kimanin mutane nawa ne kila iya cewa 'yan gudun hijira da su ga jihar? Sannan akwai dumumuwa abin da ya shafi kwamishinoni a lokacin da ya gabata an saukar da su, amma har yanzu ana dako ana ganin cewa ba a da wasu ba, inda wasu na tunanin cewa kila ko ba za a nada ba a kammala wadawa ake. Sai abin da ya shafi abubuwa da dama na kamun ludayi na siyasa, ana ganin cewa kamar akwai abubuwa daban-daban wanda a cikin siyasa. Ya ka fahimci ko kaka kallon kamun ludayi na siyasar da take gudana a ƙasar Najeriya?
Your Excellency, my name is Muhammad Lawal. I'm with the News Agency of Nigeria now. Your Excellency, in your response, you said you support anything that will enhance security of life and property. What is your take in creation of state police? That is number one. My second question, Your Excellency, is APC government has spent 7 years both at the national and state level. As captain of the ship here in Kebbi, what do you have to showcase to Kebbi people who are re-electing APC government?
Good morning, Your Excellency. I'm Yayi Abubakar with Hijra TV. My question is, what are the developmental achievements that your incumbent government under your stewardship, sir, that you will be proud of in transforming the Kebbi State?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again, please? What
are the developmental achievements in your stewardship, sir, in transforming the developmental achievement in Kebbi State?
My name is Ibrahim. I report for NAN, News Agency of Nigeria. Sir, Kebbi State has over 20 forest reserves. Unfortunately, these forest reserves have been depleted by the activity of charcoal businessmen. Some of the security challenges we have are attributed to climate change. Sir, what is government doing now to address the menace?
This is Ismail Adebayo. I write for this daily newspaper. Your Excellency, you started what was considered a revolution in the agri sector in Kebbi State and in extension, by extension in Nigeria. Do you not have any fear that after your tenure, this laudable project that put Kebbi in the limelight will be tested by incoming administration?
How many IDPs are in Kebbi? It's changing by the day. You visit a place, some have gone home, some are coming in. But it's a worrisome number, even one is large enough. So, and that's not to say that there is not the teams, the local government teams, local communities have been working hard at estimating and knowing who is where. But because people have left in panic and are arriving at different times, really you can only hazard a guess. And one of the complaints I quite often had is many people say that they don't even know where their children or their wives or their husbands are, even though they left their villages at the same time. So it's an evolving thing. I think when we went to Maputo, they told us there were 9 new babies that day, and these are all babies that were born in bush, in pit. So how do you don't even? It's just pathetic. And we don't know, despite best efforts. So I can't. Commissioners, I think, look, the only time I dissolved a cabinet was after the last tenure, because part of what we were aiming to provide as an administration was instability, in ensuring that as much as we can, we will allow people to but now politics is at hand. Some people have interest, like some people resign to contest or to seek offices. Some people in the cabinet also are considering other options. So we felt that let us dissolve and bring back those. All of them have done well. Those who we believe are able and are willing and are seeking forward to the completion of their tenure, and some who have other priorities. I appreciated all of them. So we will reconstitute the cabinet, and I believe it's not a problem. I believe I'm an optimist. I believe our politics is progressing. From 1999 to date, we have seen increasing confidence by Nigerians in the political process. Nigerians are able to elect whom they want. The legislation is improving. The Independent National Electoral Commission has been working hard. Under President Muhammadu Buhari, he promised that he's not going to interfere with elections, and we saw a ruling party losing election. Even sometimes we win an election, we lost in the court system. Bayelsa, for example, Zamfara, for example, even though luckily the Gwamna came back to join. But we didn't see the president going out of his way to say that since we win the election, we'll keep it by. So these are all positive signs. The last election in Oshun, we had a fair chance. We thought we would win. We didn't. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulated the person who was declared winner. And so we believe this is positive. And then the political parties have been able to do primaries that most commentators accept are credible primaries. These are presidential primaries, for example. Our presidential primary, we believe, is even an amazing statement that should add confidence to the political process, because there are at least 13 aspirants that contested. And these aspirants come from all the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. The Northwest zone, for example, have the biggest number of delegates, 558 delegates. But the aspirant from Northwest only got 4. The same thing with the candidate from the Northeast, who incidentally was the Senate president of the country. He didn't take all the votes from even the Northeast. The North Central Gwamna, a young Gwamna, very young, vibrant Gwamna, Yayi also was an aspirant. He didn't even get all the votes from North Central. The Southeast states, They have 200. They had 283 delegates in the primaries, and they have about 5 candidates. Gwamna Umahi of Ebonyi State, Rochas Okorocha, Emeka Nwajuba, who was a former minister, Obonaya Onu, also a former minister, and one George Mokelu. But amazingly, only all the 5 of them only got 40 of those 283 Southeast votes. The same thing in the South, where you have Rotimi Amechi, you have the Cross Rivers Governor, my brother, Governor Ben Yaje. They couldn't get even all the South votes. And then, of course, the winner came incidentally from the Southwest, but it is not the Southwest votes that gave him the ticket, because the total Southwest votes were 411 delegates, and they have the right Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who became a winner with 1,271, and the vice president also, who was a contestant. So we think it's an amazing story, because here is where every part of Nigeria is given the opportunity to vote. And we saw that, and as President Muhammadu Buhari remarked, that maybe if without that transparency, if it is a consensus, somebody will say, it will have gone to my zone. We think this is an evolution in the right direction. We hope our young men and women will appreciate this and continue to also pay attention and defend democracy, because it's the least problematic form of government. I support local policing. I said it. I think there's a difference between supporting local policing, and all of us, in a way, maybe without realizing it, we do. There's no, whether you call it Hizbah, whether you call it vigilante, is a provision of some policing. What is important, I think what the debate should be about is, what powers should you allow for those people to carry? I remember when I went to Usman Danfodio University, then called University of Sokoto, they have a security outfit that is as competent as a local police. They can arrest, you run to them with complaint, they provide security in the campus, they resolve the dispute. They even have a place where they can hold somebody pending the arrival of police. So that is local policing in a way. The issue is, how do we legislate local policing as it's already being practiced and make it more effective to our security challenges? What have we done? I think what do you think we have done to seek re-election and the developmental achievement in the last 7 years? I believe President Muhammadu Buhari campaigned on 3 major platforms: accountability, security, and the economy. And Sheikh, I can't remember whether it was Sheikh Albani or this late Sheikh from Kano, Jafar. One of them in 2014, before his martyrdom, did a very popular recording where they warned that let those who are supporting President Buhari live under the illusion that when Buhari is sworn in, all of Nigeria's Albani. He said, in fact, they should brace up for more support, because maybe only after Buhari will we even know the depths of challenge that our country is facing. And that is what happened. A lot of things were not even being explained or told or kept in public imagination. And then you have a president who is sincere, who is transparent, who is hiding nothing. And then the gravity of this situation came out. and he has been battling to deal with those challenges. And in addition to that, we have an international environment that is compounded, and so we have to appreciate those two things in tandem. Whether right from the sub-region, we see countries in more trouble than they were 7 years ago. Most of our neighbors, we see the international. The Americans are struggling with their economy. Britain is struggling with its economy. Liz Truss, who just became prime minister in 2 weeks, unfolded an economic policy on Friday which might consume the government, because she's just trying to do the best in the circumstance. So we have to appreciate what President Buhari has been doing, consistent with the resources available to him, and he has done well. Railways projects are ongoing, railways are running in some parts of the country. Power sector investment is going on. Infrastructure, particularly road, is going on. Before Buhari, from Tambuwal to Yauri was a nightmare. I remember how every time we are calling a security meeting, Sarkin Yauri always called to complain that how can we be calling him for a meeting when we know the state of the road. Sometimes when these things are sorted, you forget so easily. We have had period where there are checkpoints in Nigeria where you spend 6 hours in order to cross them. And the human intervention under President Muhammadu Buhari, over 20 million Nigerians are receiving some support from the state. Maybe elites do not care about this thing, but these things matter. To that woman who has never received 20,000 naira in her life, 20,000 naira support means a lot, and it shows a government that is including all. And President Muhammadu Buhari supported states. 27 states were unable to pay salary and pension. He supported. And President Muhammadu Buhari treat all parts of Nigeria equally. We are talking about agriculture, we are talking about fertilizer, we are talking about industrial sector blossoming. Equally in Kebbi State, we believe we have embraced all those three. In addition, one of the things I believe we did in Kebbi that we hope history will reward us for is that we ensured that we depoliticized the public service. We made a public service and encouraged anybody to do his job. And I challenged anybody to do his job. And nobody is being rewarded because he's a supporter of APC or he or she is against APC. What we urge civil service, and they have done, a lot of them have embraced that and done well. We ensure that we, in addition to balancing development, I remember at a program, Justice Usman Mohammed, I think Kebi, he said to me publicly that when Aleru became governor, he invested a lot in his town. And when Aikingari, and they were there, so I'm glad he was not speaking in their absence. Both of them were there. He said, but we don't see you doing the same. I said, well, maybe perchance I'm the first nomadic governor of the state, because I was born in Gwandu, I grew up in Suru, Aleru, Kashinzama, Karaye, Bessie. So to me, all of Kebbi is home. And that's how I think. And I've always given this example that the longest road we are constructing is in Sakaba local government, which gave us the least votes in 2015. And our only reason was the economy of our state demand that that road should be constructed. And so that's how we think. And maybe not too political, but we think we did the right thing. And we believe that we have energized all parts of the state with intervention rural that is supporting rural transformation, that is supporting rural economy and incomes. And we also feel because of that, the private sector that has money is now coming to the state to take advantage of that and locate in different parts of the state, not just in one, either the state capital, even though the state capital has invested, like I said, even now, in addition to Labana, an Indian group has started constructing near the silos. We have completed the flour mills of the state. I think we are now doing a ground nut processing facility, and the machineries have arrived. There are at least 3 other millers on the way to Kalgo. So it's all catching up, and the situation is the same across the state. So we believe APC have done well given the meager resources available to it, and if we continue to support APC, more can be done by sustaining the programs. Forest reserve being depleted by charcoal, not only by charcoal, by human activity, where population pressure is making us to encourage into otherwise what should be protected reserve, whether for expansion of city, building of schools, building of road, construction of roads, or farming activity, animal husbandry, and in addition to the challenge that some people still are cutting down trees to make charcoal. The forestry department have been very active in this, and recently Kebbi State has secured participation in the World Bank Agri and Climate Resilience Program to get funding that should enable us to plant more and regenerate more. Because at the end of it, you can't stop human activity. There's a limit to how much you can stop. But you can demand responsible behavior. We can all plant a tree and sustain it and nurture it, as well as be more careful. Do I have fear that policy can be... Yes, policy reversal is always a risk factor. But I believe that the agricultural program involves a lot of people who have benefited. I can't see the farmers, even though they don't have, sometimes they don't used to have big boys, but now they do because the farmers are organized. So I can't see, for example, the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, or Cassava Farmers Association, or Millers for that matter Association, or Maize Farmers Association allowing reversal of policies without good cause. They will fight it because the consciousness and awareness has increased that we will resist, people will resist changes to policies without good reason. Thank you.
I'm one of the engineers sponsored by him to the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria. We are very happy and really proud of you, sir. Happy Independence Day. There is one also from Skinner who said, "Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for touching our lives positively. Happy Independence Day." There are many comments, but time will not permit me to read all of them. So we'll go to the next question.
My name is Hamza Galadimo Zulu. I'm the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Kebbi State, and I represent Trust TV. Your Excellency, sir, we are talking about 62 years of nationhood, and even to a human, the age of 62 is a golden age at which one is expected or is said to be responsible and responsive. But with the marriage and truckloads of challenges being faced by Nigerians now, we have banditry, we have kidnappings, unemployment, and so on and so forth. Can we safely say that Nigerians have a cause to celebrate 62 years of nationhood?
My name is Umar Mohammed, Foreign Water Television, Prime Vision Media Service. But I would love to ask my question in Hausa because we transmit in Hausa. And I want you to help me. By the time you are going to answer my question, possibly you answer it in Hausa. Mai girma gwamna, wato matsalar tsaron nan abin yana so ya zama kamar kallon dambe wanda yake bayan fage shi yake ganin mabuga. Yawan mutane na zargin cewa kamar gwamnoni ba su haɗa kai ba. In aka koro bandit Zamfara su koma Sokoto, in aka koro Sokoto su dawo Kebbi da su koma Haija. Wasu na ganin kamar kin rashin haɗin kai ne ko wani abu ya hana a magance abin nan kai tsaye. Wataƙila akwai abin da za ka gaya ma mutane wanda su ba su sani ba, wanda ya sa ake ma abin kallon fagen dambe wanda awwal shi ke ganin mabuga. Wannan kenan sai tambaya ta biyu da excellency ɗaya haƙuri da ni. Wato matsalar nasarar da aka samu biyan aikin gona particularly ko ce musamman a shinkafa. Yau ko makaho ya tabbatar da a jihar Kebbi in don nasara an same ta a gefen shinkafa. Don ga kamfuna nan suna shigowa inda ko babu shinkafa nan kamfuna ba su shigo ba. Amma shi talaka yakan samu damuwa ya kasa gane nasara. Ko dai ka taɓa faɗi irin wannan magana a can cikin kasuwancin ba, amma dai duk da haka nan za ki kila in za ka sake faɗa. Wato lokacin da gwamnati nan ta hau ta APC, buhun shinkafa ana sayan shi wani ƙasa da 10,000. Yau ga shi ya dawo kusan 40,000. So kaga shi talaka ko an ce mai an samu nasara ba zai gane ba. Amma kila ku a matsayin ku akwai abubuwan da za ku faɗa masa da kai gane. Shin zuwa yau shi ne za a ga nasarar da kila buhun shinkafa zai dawo ƙasa da 10,000 ta da kai gane cewa an samu nasara a wajen noma nan.
Thank you. Your Excellency, I was opportune to be in Kaduna just of recent for a 2-day party on electricity in the country. And I was glad to be there because Kebbi was rated the first state in Nigeria in terms of electricity supply. Having noted Kebbi as one of the most in electricity area. Now, what do you think you put in place to ensure that this huge legacy you put in place will not go impaired after leaving the office? That is first. Then my second question. On the 27th June 2022, you signed 2 bills into law. On June 27th June 2022, you signed 2 bills into law. One BAP law and the one of child rights stroke women protection. Sir, how do you ensure speedy dispensation? Because I was also opportune to be in prison visit. Most of the young men you find there are victims of molestation of women waiting for trial, but the trial after now has not been commenced. What can you do to ensure speedy dispensation of this, instead of allowing them lying in the prison while government is feeding them? Thank you.
This one Bakar Malai Babu, ina wakiltar Radio Muryar Najeriya. Kamar da mai gidana Afan da yace muna aika labari a cikin harshen Hausa da yaren ka kuma na Fulatanci, don haka muna buƙatan a yi tambaya da Hausa, sannan kuma ina son a bani ansa da Hausa don aika labari na inganci. Tambaya ta farko, mai girma gwamna, a shekara da zuwa 2 ka kaddamar da ainihin wani kwamiti na malaman jami'a don su kula da yankunan kanan hukumi na sashen ilimi. Matsayin ka na ƙwararren malamin makaranta wannan kaddama da kabba ainihin shehunan jami'an nan shin wani irin ci gaba kaga an samu, shin abin da aka faɗa ya zamo ko an samu canji? Tambaya ta biyu, a mai girma gwamna, an tabbata kana tausayawa musamman da mai da hankali ga matasa da kuma mata masu ƙananan sana'o'i. Shi menene hikimar ka na koda yaushe kana kula da mata da yara masu ƙananan sana'o'i, menene hikimar haka? A ƙarshe mai girma gwamna, kowane an da salasale ce yana buƙatar ya samu wazirai na gari, to ka samu wazirai na gari wanda shi yasa aka samu ba a taba samun tashi hankali ko hitin a ko wani abu a ke ba lokacin kamar girma gwamna. To wayannan waziran naka kuma musamman masu kula da sassa daban-daban sha'anin gona da kuɗi da sauransu, to me za ka ce gare su? Na gode.
My name is Khadija Sayen. I'm an advocate of the VAP implementation and I write for the nation. Your Excellency, my question is just this. I want to ask Your Excellency, in the last 7 years, your government have not signed the law of condemned persons. Do we know why? And secondly, Your Excellency, recently findings revealed that Yaje State have the highest out of school children. Your Excellency, even though you have done a lot in structures are being put in place. Can you tell us what you are putting in force in improving, maybe employing more staffs to man some of these structures? Thank you, Excellency.
One of the lines representing Inji. Your Excellency, your administration has held the legacy of sending indigenous of the states to study abroad, despite the fact that most of the courses can also be found here in our local institutions. Why not using that particular resources to link up with the foreign university or bring in experts from there to come to our local universities here so that many more students will benefit?
Nigeria, in spite of the challenges of the last 62 years, have done well. I unenthusiastically say Nigeria have done very, very well. And it is very important to remember history. Nigeria spent decades under colonial rule. That must have some consequence. That must have some consequence. We spent centuries under an exploitative system that even allows Nigerians to be among other populations to be taken as slaves elsewhere. Again, that must have some effect. So when you are comparing 62 years versus those periods, you will appreciate that you need to be more lenient in acknowledging your successes. Secondly, population have grown literally exponentially. That in that period, take your family size. I'm sure if you are 60, many of us who are 60 and above, now maybe when you take your family size, extended family size, maybe it's less than 30% of what it was now. So if an average family explodes by that, and you can imagine that we form the population, then that tells you how much houses are required, how much more public facilities will be required in order to even maintain level of capital. I'm sure if our family house is all our possession, it won't take my family and my siblings. So population was growing, but like I once had occasion to say, I went to primary school in different villages in the state. My father was teaching in Alero when he was posted to Kashinzama, The most remarkable memory I had, because it's a very tough one, was that we walked the distance between Aleru to Kashandama. There was no motor vehicle. Today, not since 1999, there is a third road. There are vehicles plying that road. Again, from Kashandama, we went to Karai, which is about 11 kilometers from Myanmar. I've always remembered that I've never come back from holiday because the vehicles only stop in Myanmar. I never knew for once between from 1 to from 3, a day that I came back from holiday and took a car or bus or lorry between Myanmar to Kashinda. We will sleep in Myanmar if it is late and walk the following morning, or if it is early, we are excited, we will walk those 11 kilometers. Now I think a school child will not do so. And my mother's family used to live in Bessie. And again, I remember walking the distance between Koko and Bessie a lot of times. Things have moved on. So, as frustrated as we might be with some challenges which are global in nature, I think we should appreciate the blessing and achievement also that I always give again this example that when I was in Form 4 or thereabouts, a very brilliant member of our class, Dr. Isiaku Saidu Karai, won a Quran, Yusuf Ali, with translation. He won in a quiz competition. I believe that was the first completed Quran with translation that we had in Karai, because we used to share it. Now knowledge is everywhere. Now libraries of Oxford University, Harvard University are in our hands. So some of the challenges we are facing are population-related challenges that are being faced by other countries as much as we. Something frustrated Britain to say, let us get out of the Commonwealth, the European Union. Something. They are more advanced than us, they have more successes purportedly than us, but something frustrated them. And we have seen around the world, have seen Sri Lanka, how people walked into the presidential. And that is, I like this question because this is the question that journalists should use as their theme of seminars so that they can interrogate these issues. Because remember that what you say matters fundamentally. And if your judgment is we have done poorly, you can even mobilize populace for a wrong outcome. Versus, well, look, we have done, we could do better. That you could do better does not mean you have not done well. So I think those are I will leave the House of questions and take them together. Thank you very much for the participation in the electricity parley. How did we do better, Kebi? Well, because all of us mobilized. It's not me. All of us are willing. The NURTW was helping us with fault reporting. The traditional rulers also appreciated the need for people to pay their bill and encourage people to pay their little bills so that it will add and we pay the electricity company. The state government has been spending enormous amount of money just to ensure that those things that the company is supposed to do and is not doing well does not deny us electricity. I remember at the last Security Council meeting, I was told that Argungu has been 4 weeks, 60% of Argungu has been 4 weeks without electricity because we are waiting for Kaduna Discourse, their responsibility. But we know it might take for them forever. So the state government provided, I think, 198 million naira in order to deal with that situation. And equally, within the same period, I think we spent close to 400 million in buying transformers. These are things that it is a disco. So we made the sacrifice, but more importantly, it is the the commitment of the people of Kebbi to do things differently, because one of the things that some people observe during fasting period, they see how vehicles, starlet vehicles laden with ice will be leaving, whether it is Alero or Jega or Mayama for others. This is export in a way, and we pray that we will still continue to have electricity that can support our industry. And I remember visiting a tailor's shop one day, and he told me he's from Zaria, but he relocated to Kebbi because he has electricity almost 24 hours, and he was very, so it's our commitment, and I thank all of us for that. The birth and child protection, speedy dispensation depend on, the law is already in place, meaning there are things that today you can do what yesterday you cannot do. For example, the media can help in studying the bill and popularizing it, so that a child who is in a difficult position, you can bring awareness as to what you can do, what was not possible maybe before, or even if it was not backed by legislation. Now there is a legislation, so maybe the SSG can note that, or the ministries, relevant ministries can note that, so that we can see how can we popularize the law and what is required for its implementation. Again, on BAP implementation law, the failure to sign the death penalty is not a law, it's a practice. The state governor, somebody can only be killed in a state lawfully when the state governor signs and acknowledges. The challenge, the major challenge has been the lengthy period between the commitment of an offense and the eventual time when the when appeals are exhausted for the governor to make decision is too long. Today, a society may be very, very angry that something has happened today or yesterday, and then the judiciary, because of also their own constraint, take 10 years to deliver the final judgment. Maybe in 10 years, certainly it's a new governor, maybe even a second governor after the next. So by then the decision will arrive. It does not have the potency or the rage that the moment have. And then maybe the prerogative committee on mercy will recommend that the person is of now good behavior, and then it becomes a weighing issue. So it's really the reform in the criminal justice administration was designed to shorten this period, so that decisions can be taken when the public support, because public support is important. Why do you want to punish? Why do you punish at all? You want the public to believe the right thing is done. If public has almost forgiven someone and you kill him or her, maybe it doesn't achieve the resonance you want the punishment to achieve. Out of school children, I think we have done very well. The last performance report of BESDA, which is the Educational Services Delivery for All, have seen us mobilizing more. So this figure, I think, following verification, will not be the highest anymore, because a lot of effort has gone in the last 2.5 years, and taimakawa al'amari. Akwai matsala wadda yake wani lokaci doka ke kawo ta. Yanzu DPO din birnin Kebbi local government da DPO din Gwandu daban suke. Ko laifi ake yi in aka bi DPO ya bi mutane, sai dai ya kiri DPO din Gwandu, balle jiha da jiha. Sannan kamar yadda na faɗi da turanci, akwai wata matsala wadda ta yi sha ma wani kai yadda take sha ma kai ba haka take sha ma wani kai ba, don haka kila kai abinda za ka iya yi wannan ba zai iya yi ba. Lokacin da muka zo sabbi bayan an rantsar da mu, muna da advisor da ake kira general ɗahanni, Allah ya ji kanshi. Lokacin bai daɗe da gama zama GOC ba, amma saboda son jihar Kebbi yadda ya zama security advisor, kuma babu irin ƙwazon da bai ba. Mataimakin gwamna Cornelius Bidawai babur yake hawa lokacin ya shiga daji tare da 'yan sa kai, duk dai saboda mu haka muka ɗauki abin. Ni kuma duk inda aka ce akwai abin da zan iya zuwa in ƙara ƙarfafa al'umma in tashi in tafi. Ba mu daina wadda wasu ke yi ba, amma kila su bai dame su kawai da dame mu ba, saboda mu muna da damuwa cewa in ba mu yi waɗannan abubuwa ba mutanenmu ba su iya noma, ba su iya zaman lahiya. Ko yanzu in na je wuri abin da ke bakanta mu ne, don ba mu maso muna ganin mutane sun bar wurin zamansu, mun son duk wahalar da za mu sha mu maishe su gidajensu mu taimaka can a yi ba su security. So haka abin yake. Na ga ciyaman na sakaba nan haka, sakaba dan kowace gudu ciyamomin mu haka muka koya musu. Ba mu da aiki munan jihar Kebbi na shugabanci kamar darajar ba da zaman lahiya cikin al'ummarmu, ko an gani ko ba gani ba mu iya. Sannan mu sani cewa rantsuwar da muka yi ba ta a zauna a ofis ɗaya ba ce, sai ta haɗo da haɗarin ka je wurin da dole ka ɗau haɗari domin ka ƙarfafa jama'anka. Ko da na faɗi cewa da muka je wani garin Hausawa, na ji tausan ma'aikatan tsaron da muke tare da su, don ka hanya kawai kana ganin cewa ko ina ana iya hito musu. So amma kuma mu shi an rantsuwar da muka yi, su ba dora musu rantsuwa ba, mu an dora mana rantsuwa. Wasu jihohi kila ba su kalli abin haka ba, kuma kila sun kalla, amma ana haɗuwa wurare da yawa ana samun, akwai matsalar cewa security agencies ba su da kayan aiki wadaci, ba su da yawa, ba su da yawa. Sannan wani lokaci duk labarin da ake kawo da tsoro ake kawo shi. Za a zo a ce ga mutum 200 nan, to ko DPO yana da mutum 7 me zai yi? Bai ma tunanin ya tashi ya tunkari mutum 200. Don haka akwai wannan matsala, amma ba rashin haɗin kai ba ne tsakanin gwamnoni. Muna haɗin kai kuma muna magana da gwamnatin tarayya, amma akwai sababbin matakan da aka ɗauka kuma mun ga suna aiki. Allah da ya sa su ɗaure. Matsala aikin gona, talaka yakan samu damuwa a ce shinkafa da yake sai 10,000 yanzu 40,000 take. To kila akwai bambancin fahimta waye talaka, don ni na fi ɗaukar masu noma suna cikin talakawa. Ashe ko in shinkafa ta tashi da 10,000 zuwa 50,000 40,000, mai nomawa shi ya ci amfani ke da kuwa. Kuma haka ake son al'ummar kwarai ta tsara abubuwanta, mai kwazo ya ƙara samu, in manomi ne, in mai kiwo ne, in mai kamun kifi ne. Saboda in kana son ka samu kenan ga kai ma ka yi kwazo. Ba abin da ya cutar da mu da dadewa, mun dade ana ba da muhimmanci ga mai saye, bayan kuwa kasashen da sun ka nasara fiye da mu, to su tsarin da sun ka ba muhimmanci ga mai yi, ma'ana shi zai ƙara jawo hankalin wasu su yi. Na tabbatar da kila yanzu haka duba cikin nan ɗakin taron nan akwai wani wanda da bai noma, amma kila da ya ji nasara da kuma balu da darajar da ake samu ga noma, kila ya fara. To shi a tsarin kwarai, amma in ma kasa farashi wanda yake da arha wanda ke kashe a noma, to an yi banna. Saboda bambancewa da na zo da na zo aka rantsar da ni buhun shinkafa shan shera na shi faji din 3,800 yake, kuma yana ta saukowa har ya zo 3,500. Manoma suka zo suka same ni suka ce in farashi bai tashi ba za su noma ba baɗi, saboda ma'ana kuɗin da za ka kashe ka noma ba ka iya mai da shi. Kuma lokacin manomi sai ya sai da kusan buhu 2.5 kafin ya sai buhun taki guda. To sai yanzu ga shi abin ya juya, to mu muna ganin shi ne babban nasara. Abin da ake so manomanmu su ƙara samun arziki, makiyayanmu su ƙara samun arziki, masuntanmu su ƙara samun arziki, wanda bai son saye gare su ya noma. Kwamiti na malaman jami'a da aka yi shine wato kowace karamar hukuma ga doka akwai hukuma ta kula da har fannin ilimi. To da ba a ba su muhimmanci ba, abinda muka yi sabo don mu sa waɗanda in an gane su ba su jin shakka kowa, ba su jin shakka gwamnati, ba su jin shakka kowa cikin al'umma, wanda za su iya gano gaskiya wai shi mi ilimi yake ciki a wannan karamar hukuma. To shine Allah ya taimaka kuma da muka tara malamanmu na makarantun ne kamar universities da polytechnics, aka yi kira gare su kuma suka amsa kiran, suka zo suka yadda su zama shugabanni na hukumar kula da ilimi ta kananan hukumomi daban-daban. To kuma ko bakwai biyu da na jin bai kai sati 3 ba da muka haɗu da su so biyu, kuma na san wasunku suna nan 'yan jarida. Na farko abin da ya haifar da alheri da yawa, na farko an rage gaddamar yadda lalurar take. Da ana ma gaddama abu kama biyan albashi sai kaji ana gaddama ce. To ranar ma da muka yi mitin na farko, ina jin wasu kunanan dan gaba ga 'yan jarida aka yi mitin ɗin aka kare, za ka ga kowane chairman ya zo da education secretary da director na finance, kuma tambaya ta farko shine director na finance ya miƙe ya faɗi kuɗin da ya ansa ga wata, kuma ya tabbatar da cewa da shi da ES su ne masu sama kuɗi hannu, sannan ya faɗi cewa ta banki suke biyan malamai ko ta kuma kusan local government na jin 19 suka tabbata cewa gaba ɗaya ta banki suke biya. Sannan a faɗi wasu sun bayanin cewa ga yawan ƙwararrun malaman da suke da, wasu ba su haɗi ba, amma aka jaddada cewa aikin gade taimako ne sun ka zo su yi, kuma su matsa ma gwamnati domin a ƙara hankalta da lalurorin ilimi a mataki na ƙasa, wato primary school da junior secondary school. Su da yake dukansu 'yan jiha ne, su waɗannan professors da malaman university sun yi na'am, kuma sun ɗauki abin nan da muhimmanci, kuma suna ƙwazonsu, kuma sun ga hikimar gwamnati da roƙonsu da ta yi na sa, kuma ya ƙara taimakawa ga jawo hankali ga matsawa kowa ya aiki ne daidai wa daidai. Me yasa ake ba da muhimmanci ga al'umma, ga mata da yara masu ƙananan sana'a? Ba wai ma mata masu makana, ita daga addinin mu da kuma tarihin ƙasashen da suka ci gaba, duk al'ummar da ke so ta ci gaba sai an taimaki masu ƙwazo. Dole ne a taimaki masu ƙwazo. Wanda ka talla ko wanda ka talla ya nuna ƙwazo. To kada a bari ƙwazon nan ya ya kuce har wani ya ga cewa ashe kwazo bai da amfani, to bari yin zamana. Don haka al'umma kowace iri ce, mata kwazo suke da, in cikin gidaje suke kwazo suke da, wata bata iya ba, wata ba ta iya saboda kunya da tarbiyya ba ta iya ambatawa, ba ta iya magana da lura da take ciki. Don haka dole al'umma ta hankalta, namiji ya yi sauƙin ya bayyana ko kuma a yi sauƙin a sa abin da yake ciki. Wata mace kila in tana cikin gida ma sai wadda ka shiga gidan nan za ta yi sani. Don haka shi yasa shi sai an ƙara ɗaukar wannan mataki, kuma na gode Allah na ga cewa mun farga gwamnatin mu ta ɗauka, kuma an yadda muna majalisar jiha ta yadda, jama'a sun yadda, ma'aikatan gwamnati sun yadda wannan muhimmanci da ake basuwa ga harkokin mata da masu ƙananan sana'a. Har yanzu Allah ya taimaka muna da yarjejeniya da babban bankin duniya, muna wani tsari na taimakon mata 18,000 a kowace local government guda 3 in Gaski, Mai Yama da Argungu, kuma kusan an raba kuɗi ya kai biliyan 2 ga mata 34,000 da ɗan kai cikin waɗannan da ake nema. Kuma yanzu babban bankin Najeriya, babban bankin duniya ya yadda ma saboda nasarar da aka gani na wannan, a kai wannan program ne a kai shi sauran local government 18 waɗanda kuma Kebbi State ta cika duk sharuɗa, har da biyan miliyan 450 na gudunmuwar gwamnatin jiha ga tsara kai wannan abin ga mun riga mun biya, ko kuma na ba da umarnin a biya. Na tabbatar da in finance kila suna nan za su an riga an biya. Don haka wannan ba wai ma wani abu ne wanda ya zama tilas.
Based by Mr. Ayo on non-renewal of contract, non-state indigenous, and then payment of their contract gratuity. I would have expected Ayo first to commend the effort of the case. You are all aware. As a journalist, you are really aware of the economic downturn, being occasioned by the COVID-19 and also the Russia-Ukraine war, which has almost affected all the nations, in the world, to which Nigeria is part of those nations, and Kebbi State also as a component of that. The renewal, right now, before my committee, the issue of payment of their contract gratuity is before me right now. Just like we did to other retirees, civil servants in the country, in the state, we are almost close to, we have about 67 files for requesting for payment of contract gratuity for non-indigenous, which definitely we will address. And the issue of renewal, we are trying to advise the state government, as a result of this economic downturn, we're trying to see how we will review the policy on contract appointment, to non-indigenous in the state. And as soon as our report is ready, we will intimate His Excellency the Governor on whether or not we will continue to renew the appointment or to engage fresh candidates, here in the state. So we are right now on it, inshallah. Very soon you will get to hear from us.
يا أيها المؤمن ذا الجلال والإكرام يا إلهنا وإله كل شيء لا إله إلا أنت Allah wannan zaman tattaunawa da muka yi Allah ya sa shi amfane mu a zama sanadiyyar kawo fahimta da ci gaba ga wannan jiha tamu da ƙasa baki daya. Shugabanninmu Allah ka ƙara musu hikima mu zamo mu sauke nauyi na haƙƙin shugabanninmu da ke kanmu ne musu biyayyar da Allah ɗora muna domin kawo wannan ci gaba da ake bukata. Ya hayyu ya qayyum subhanaka allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.